crowned by the king. Yeah, we crowned by the king. Yeah, we crowned. Had to get to work, had to stop all the chit chat. Too many talents, can't waste them. Yeah, that's big facts. Making kingdom moves, standing on business like me, Shaq. Aiming for our goals, click clack. Moving forward, no need to reach back. Tell me where I need to preach at. Tell me where I need to speak at.
All right, we're back again with another episode of the Crowncast podcast. Blessed for this one today. My name is Joseph Honeyset, and with me, as always, is Mr. Joel Ngulu. How you feeling today, brother?
Blessed and highly favored, man, as always.
Like that
blessed.
Shirt, man.
I appreciate you, man.
Yeah, always
like you, man.
Stop it. All right, well, man, today we have a complete honor. This gentleman is the lead pastor of a huge organization called Kingdom City here in Dallas, Texas, the Christian organization all across the world. We're
started.
Get into it a little bit more, but man, let's go ahead and bring Mr. Blake Young to the stage for the Crowncast podcast. How are you doing today, brother?
What's going on, guys? Thank y'all so much for having me. This is an honor.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I'm excited about this, Blake. I watch your videos. I love your energy that you bring. And so I'm excited for the audience to hear your story. But that's how we start. Your testimony, your story, your God-led story you can start however you want from childhood to right now, wherever you want. This is your time to highlight Blake Young.
Man, thank you, guys. Big shout out to Joseph and Joel, Crowncast. Yo, this is awesome. This is a privilege to be here. My wife and I have just relocated to the DFW area and really relocated back to America after living overseas for 12 years. 4 years of that was in Africa in a country called Botswana. The rest of the time we were living in Australia. My wife, she's an Australian girl. She's Latino, but Australian. So she speaks Spanish and she got the Aussie accent. It's fire. But yeah, we just celebrated our 15-year wedding anniversary.
Yes,
I've got 3 girls, and literally my oldest turned 13 today. So I'm freaking out. I'm like, yo, this is wild. I am a product of God's grace, as a lot of us are. I'm grateful to be alive, and it's one of those journeys where the intro has become all too common. What God did on the other side of it, I'm still freaking out and I'm still pinching myself about to this day. But yeah, born into a divorce, broken home, daddy issues, went to the streets trying to find love, trying to find affirmation, ran to gangs. I was in Long Beach, California, trying to be a little wannabe Snoop Dogg. We let hip hop culture raise us. And there was brokenness, there was child abuse, there was sexual molestation that happened. All those things curled up into a little ball, packaged in a school uniform, and you're sitting off into the big bad world and you got to figure stuff out, and we do it poorly. All while God was there, had a praying mama. So I'm in 2 different worlds. I got prayer and faith and church and encounters with the Lord, knowing that he's real. At the same time, I'm seeing drugs, I'm seeing gang violence. My friend brought a gun to school. I'm seeing all kind of foolishness happening. I'm having role models over here giving me condoms saying have fun. And I got role models over here talking about sexual purity. And I'm one kid in both worlds at the same time, like VeggieTales and Tupac. Like it was schizophrenic. You know what I mean? And so, yeah, like it's one of those things where you grow up with a broken personality, equally having faith, but equally being addicted to darkness and not knowing which is which. And then sometimes you see darkness in the church. And, that's a whole nother podcast for another day. And so, yeah, kind of what ended up happening is I get kicked out of university. And like, it's 2005. She is like, there's this girl I'm getting caught up with. She's doing dumb stuff. I'm getting in trouble. I'm sleeping on this girl's couch. I'm rolling over here. Like all this stuff is happening. And the funny thing was, at the same time, I'm seeing the craziest darkness and depression I've ever dealt with in my life. I could feel the spirit of death. I felt like I was going to die, couldn't be alone, had to be medicating myself, had to be chasing a girl, had to be running to sex or something just to calm the noises in my head that because I knew God had taken his hand off of my life. It's like I went to university, I lost my mind, and God's like, you know what? I'm gonna let you lose it for a little bit just so you know what it's like to live without me. And so kind of in that time, by the grace of God, it was November 2005, and my mom calls me one day. She's like, "What are you gonna do?" And I'm like, you know what? I think I need to come home. And I think I need to start over. And at that same time, my mom had found out about this Christian drug rehab in Los Angeles. And she's like, why don't you try this? And so I got on a plane home after Thanksgiving, and it's November 27, 2005. And I walk into this place called the LA Dream Center. And it's a ministry in Los Angeles. And it's basically a 24-hour church that doesn't close. And they have a rehab, they've got foster care support, they've got homeless ministry, they give out 10,000 hot meals a week, no questions asked, breakfast, lunch, and dinner in exchange for a gospel message. And they had a live-in rehab. And so I checked in, and that began a 13-month journey of God rebuilding me from the inside out. And while in that rehab, they're exposing you to amazing ministries, churches, you're serving. They're kind of, so it allowed me to just get away from the world and rediscover who God was. Graduated from that. They gave me a scholarship to go to Bible college. Did that for 2 years, failed the first year, went back the next year and restarted my whole journey. So it was a little bit of a bump. Thank God for justification, but sanctification was a little bit of a process. and yeah, like in that journey, in that second year, and this is now 2009, I meet this beautiful little girl in the lobby of church one Sunday, and I didn't know it, but she was just on a vacation checking out the church because our founder, he had actually preached in Australia. So she's like, I got to see this place for myself. And we met right there in the lobby of church. Didn't see anything, didn't think anything of it. And then a whole year later, we reconnected online. And she was a guidance counselor in Australia. And she was doing like drug and alcohol counseling, which is what I did at that time because I was like mentoring youth and trying to like pay it forward, you know, what had been done for me. And so what started out being a booking call to get me to come speak and minister in Australia turned into, girl, you could book me for whatever you want. Like, you know, it was just like at that moment, God just opened up real quick everything. You know what I mean? I'm like, girl, you better get all of this Long Beach, California. You know what I mean? And so it was crazy how God just opened up my eyes and he was like, that one. And next thing I know, I'm stalking this girl on Facebook. I'm online. I'm on creeper mode. I'm just like, this chick is mesmerizing. 30 days later, she contacts me saying, hey, I'm actually on my way to Florida and I have a layover at LAX airport for 10 hours. Do you want to catch up? And I'm like, yes, like, you know, quickly rearranged my whole schedule, called in sick to work, you know, did do whatever I needed to do. And we hung out. And that was the best 10 hours of my life. She goes to Florida. We're talking on the phone every day for 3 weeks. And this was like right after Christmas, right? So like a week later, it's New Year's Eve, I got a concert because I used to do like music and stuff as well. My ex shows up at the concert. And all my friends had hatched this whole plan they were trying to get my ex back with me because no one knew about Lizzie. No one knew about this mystery girl from Australia. So they was all team my ex. And they had this whole plan where we were going to go out to eat and Blake's going to have to take her home. And this whole plan hatched. And next thing I know, it is New Year's Eve and I'm in a car with my ex. And all I can think about is Lizzie. And I'm like, dear God, help. And that was the night dropping off my ex. I'm like, listen, we cannot do this. Like, you're not my wife. I'm sorry. And that's the first night I said the word wife. And that's when I'm like, oh my God, like this girl, Lizzie, this is my wife. Like, this is it. It was the weirdest moment, New Year's Eve, 2009. And God showed up in my car that night and he's like, are you done? Do you want to keep living with your past? Or do you want the future that I have for you? And that night, I'm like, Lord, I repent. I'm done. I'm all for you. I just want you. And the next morning, start chatting with Lizzie, and then I was like, hey, if you ever come back to LA, we got to talk. And we did. And 3 weeks later, I proposed.
Oh wow!
We got married 6 months after that. During that 6-month engagement online, during that engagement, I went to Australia to meet her parents, thinking it's just a dad, can I marry your daughter mission. And then she throws me a curveball. She's like, yo, can you meet my pastor as well? And I'm like, man, here we go. Like I believed in God, but at that time I did not believe in pastors. I didn't believe in churches. I'd seen too much. I'd been through too much. But I walked into Kingdom City and it was the most disarmingly beautiful, discipleship focused house I had ever seen in my life. See, like the Dream Center was an amazing outreach that like saved my life and did the on the ground ministry, but the church side hadn't really been developed yet at that time. You know what I mean? And Kingdom City was this house that was just popping and just raising up leaders. And I'd never seen anything like it before. I'd never met a pastor who stood at the front door shaking people's hand and just called himself by his first name and was like, you don't need to call me Pat. Like I'd never seen that before coming from Black church where it's like bishop, apostle, intergalactic, star lord, aficionado, 4 security guards, 10 armor bearers. I'd never seen a dude who was so approachable. And yeah, at that time, our church was, 300 people in a renovated car dealership in Perth, Western Australia. And from that moment in 2010 to now, God has breathed on our house. We now have over 60,000 people that call our church home. Wow. Our church is in 22 countries. We have 40 campuses. And my wife and I got to help plant 3 of those campuses. And it's been the wildest ride of my life. A kid from a drug rehab who just met the right girl on a Sunday morning to see what God has done has been the craziest, weirdest journey that I still don't know how it actually happened. And so for these last 10 years, it's been this journey of, oh my God, this is amazing. God, one day I want to see this in America. And that's the privilege that we have now is to plant the first Kingdom City church in the United States, right? And we're starting right here in the DFW. And yeah, bro, we're so pumped and so honored to be here. I am just a product of God's grace. It does not make sense why, what, and how God has done. And I'm just grateful to be alive and grateful to be a part of it. So that's the testimony. And yeah, I'm honored to be here.
Man, just you're a vessel. You know what I mean? You're just that vessel that God is using, Amen. As you know. But that's the beauty in your stories, right? Like, sleeping on couches, doing drugs, going to rehab, now head pastor, and when it doesn't make sense, it's God.
Exactly.
Man, this literally doesn't make sense to why I'm here, where I'm at, what I'm doing. It can only be God, right?
Yeah.
And those seeds were planted by your mom, right? Being that prayer warrior.
Shout out to praying mamas.
Yeah, come on.
Sure.
And God fulfilled that. So I think that's beautiful, man. I have so many different questions and directions I want to take this, but where I first
I'm all yours.
Where I first want to start is you talked about man, growing up listening to hip hop, rap, and being influenced by the culture. Right now, rap used to just be about like dope bars, and now it's like pop culture is hip hop culture. And you know, I was as you man, as you go through your journey and getting closer to God, like you switch, you go back to a song I was running the other day, and this Quavo song came on, and you know, he's talking about like, man, if he's talking about a girl, like if you step outside with me, like you'll be famous. And I'm like, why? Like why like why this is how I am. Why you put somebody on that like they're like, did they earn it? Did they deserve it? Like just because you look good, you're gonna put somebody on, right? So that was my thought. Change the song. But man, I grew up in New York, then to Texas. I love hip hop. I played basketball with Joel. Like that was my thing growing up. Basketball and hip hop, like they go hand in hand. But where I'm going with this question is, you know, just where culture is and just how culture and that culture kind of permeates in the messages that it you know, speaks on. And it's not beneficial to society. It's not beneficial to relationships. It's not beneficial to the things that truly matter. When we're talking about truth, it doesn't matter. But, you know, I don't even really know the question, but just talk about just that battle. You talked about just VeggieTales and then Tupac. VeggieTales, Tupac. Like talk about that battle, because I think that's a battle that young people constantly go through as they're growing up. I grew up in the church, but I wasn't a Tupac, but I was, you know, a 50 Cent and VeggieTales type person. And I just wanted to be cool more than I wanted to be Christian.
Absolutely.
So can you like talk about like what you went through those battles and battling those two different worlds, and then what you see in the church and helping other young youth coming up and battling that struggle of being more Christian than cool?
Yeah. Oh, that's the question, man. And you're right. Like this is what I tell parents a lot, right? The simple statement is this: your child's worldview is going to be shaped by the world they view the most. So what happens is we have a generation of young people that have, say, Christian moms and dads who are trying to do right? Like they had their season in the world. They trying to raise their family in church, trying to raise their family in God's house, and they made the pivot. But then we're the kids who, yes, we grew up in a Christian home, but our Monday through Friday is still a school.
Yeah.
Like, and you're talking about morning practice, school, sports app. Like when you actually think about the amount of time we spent at home, you're talking about 30 minutes a day, maybe, that we got of quality time with our parents. Like and this is Christian homes, this is Christian families. Like by the time you come home from school and it's homework and it's dinner, and then you got to get ready for tomorrow and the chores, and have you done the thing, and give me the permission slip, and what's the teacher say, and by the time you rinse and repeat, you right back there 7 a.m. or sometimes even earlier, depending on how far your parents got to drive.
Yeah.
Like, our kids are honestly foreigners in their own homes. Their world is school. And maybe the parent tries to hope the youth pastor is going to try to fix it once a week.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, so that's why it's VeggieTales and it's Tupac. Because, you know, this is the world we live in. And this is the Christian family. So we're not even talking about the kids who is properly out in these streets, that's got severely broken homes, that's really out there struggling. And so it's like the role models are the thing that's under attack. The parent is the space that's under attack. And I say this now, being a former youth minister, now a minister for now 20 something years, and now literally as of today a parent of my own teenager, and I'm freaking out. Like, we're raising our kids in contrary worlds. And so with hip hop, man, it is the soundtrack of our life. And so I'm not like on some secular music is of the devil, but I do believe all music is worship music. I believe that. I believe all music is worship music. Every song is going to open you up to an atmosphere, whether you like it or not. I wasn't on when I got saved, I didn't like cut out all secular music. I wasn't the kid who burnt all my CDs. I didn't say that everything's demonic. But the first thing when I got saved, like for real, the Holy Spirit told me all your R&B's got to go. Because promiscuity and sexuality was my escape. So for me to be redeemed, I had to not worship on that altar anymore. And shout out to Christian hip hop. Shout out to CHH. It's fire. It's come such a long way. The quality gap is truly closed now.
We
had
can't Toby Mac and Grits. Now they got Forrest Frank. They got Obi. They got Lecrae. They got Lawrence Jamal. They got Caleb Gordon.
Fire stuff now. Like, bro, you said it. We had Toby Mac. Dang. Toby Mac, KJ52, Grits, you know what I mean? And then finally, 116 started to come through and kind of make some doper moves. And so, it was interesting, growing up in that. And I was in the era of high school when 50 and G Unit had just come to take over the world. And we were singing Ja Rule the year before, and now you could get punched on sight for even associated with Murders Inc. And it was that world, So it was interesting to see that time. And so man, I believe especially let's call it the Black culture that we love, that gave us our fashion and our clothes and so much of our vernacular. I mean, we were wearing chains and so much of culture has benefited from what's cool about Black culture. But at the same time, we are our own worst enemy in that we mass consume music about misogyny and violence and degradation to our own society, and we pay money for it. And we go to concerts that celebrate foolishness, seeing college graduate girls, Black women on Instagram singing, dancing to Pound Town. And I'm like, oh my God, what are we doing here? You know what I mean? When Sexy Red is in your playlist.
Yeah. Red flag.
Red flag, you know what I'm saying? Red, of course that's what you're gonna become. And so we have created mascots that embody the very thing that is destroying our society. And so it's a tough one to see as a pastor, as a father, as a Black man. It's hard, when we anyways, that's I could go on about that.
Well, I wanted to actually build off of that. I have a daughter that's 4 years, or she's going to be 4 in February, right?
Congratulations.
That you had. Thank you. I appreciate that. The upbringing that you had, the mistakes, the failures, the shortcomings. Now you're in that fatherhood seat to women that you're raising, right? Little girls that you're raising to be women.
3 of them. I got 3 girls.
Exactly. So I'll be praying for you.
Yeah.
Especially for that 13-year-old. But with where society is at today, the busyness that you just talked about, but also the busyness that I would assume that you go through on the day-to-day with the organization you're running. I mean, you were talking about different tech projects that there's just so much going on. How do you stay where your feet are and provide that influence to your girls to set them and prepare them up for, kind of the darkness of the world by being aware of it, but letting them know where the light is and where they should, stay focused at?
That's a big one. I'll give you one answer that can apply to all parents. Okay. And then I'll give you another answer that is a unique journey that I've decided to go on. The first answer that I encourage all parents to do is date your kids, boys and girls. Date them. You may not always, just with the 9 to 5 and just the day-to-day that we all have, you're not always going to get the best quality time with your kids every day. This is a fact of life.
Yeah.
But if you can create a rhythm of dating your children, you can do something so powerful. See, when we think about it, biblically, God put the Sabbath in there. Why? Because we needed a day to stop what we're doing and give God focus.
Mhm.
That same principle applies to everything. So watch this. If I want to have a healthy relationship with God, I need a regular moment where I pause and I give him focus. If I want a healthy relationship with my wife, I need a regular time where I pause and I give her focus.
Mhm.
If you want a healthy relationship with your kids, you need a regular time where you pause and you give them focus. So you take them out. So, like today, I'm taking my 13-year-old out on a date. It's just going to be me and her. None of my other kids are going to be around. My wife's not going to be. It's going to be me and it's going to be her. And it's going to be her doing whatever she wants to do. That is a date. It's not always like that, but if she knows that that date is happening, and then if she knows that that date is something she can look forward to regularly. So I date each of my kids once a month. So I got 3 daughters and 1 wife. So that's dang near once a week. You know what I'm saying? But that's a rhythm that we created to date your kids, right? So this is the one thing that any parent needs to do. The second thing that I've decided to do, that we had a conviction from God. So this is not this is not for everyone, but this is for someone. It's for some people. Is we made a decision to homeschool our kids from
Mm.
day one. Um, and I say homeschool, but really they're in an online school. It's a hybrid online school that our church actually helped build, and then we do
Mm.
a lot of cool software curriculums and AI and all this kind of cool stuff. We mix that in. So my kids, so remember, going back to that statement, your worldview is shaped by the world you view the most.
Mhm.
My kids' world that they view is me and mom.
Love it.
Then they do, they got their dance practice, they play sports, they got their friends at church. So they have plenty of time where they're hanging out with their friends and their peers their same age. But their primary world is the world that me and my wife have created, you know. And anyone saying, "Oh, but what about weird homeschool kids and socially awkward?" Listen, weird homeschool kids had weird parents. Like I'm gonna keep it a buck with you. Like if you're weird, your kids are gonna be weird just like you. You know what I'm saying? But if you got some savvy, you got some street smarts. If you know your way around the world, and your kids hanging out with you more, guess what they're gonna be more like? They're gonna be more like you. It's
Right.
discipleship. It's just basic. So that's the not so popular thing that we decided to do. And especially with how much travel we've done around the world, that was one less speed bump that we've been able to do. Because imagine right now, we just moved to Dallas after living in Australia for 12 years. Can you imagine the the turbulence if we had just thrown these 3 little ladies into Texas high school
Yeah.
after living overseas for 12 years while transitioning new life, new church, new everything, and then us not being around them as much, but that 30 minutes per day. You,
Wow.
you see what I'm saying?
Right.
So
Yeah.
sometimes parents, we manufactured the trauma that our kids deal with. You know what I mean? And so again, listen, some kids do great in school, but it can be one size fits all, and it doesn't fit all. You know what
Right.
I'm saying? So
Right.
it depends on the kid, it depends on their temperament, it depends on a few factors. So not to shame anyone who's doing school, go with God, be full of prayer, no shame on anybody, but at least weigh up your options. As parents, we spent more money choosing our smartphone than we sometimes did choosing our kids' future. And
Mm.
that's the thing. I just want parents to actually I want parents to be armed with information, because then they come to the pastor asking us to fix something that maybe they're anointed to solve themselves. So,
Exactly.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, no, I love that. Leadership is influence. And so the more
That's it.
time
That's
your
it.
kids are around you, they're going to adopt your character, how you handle things,
That's
right?
it.
I rather that than, somebody I don't know that's there to not
Absolutely.
not getting paid all that well, right? Like, so yeah, no, I love that.
Yeah, it's crazy because like we're taught that Christianity is not cool. Like it's not something that, because I talk to a lot of youth, right? And they love talking with me. Why? Because I wear Jordans. I was an athlete. I listen to hip hop, and now they're like, man, I want to learn under you. Why? Because they see something that they want to chase after, but they see it the godly way. And so I just hate the fact when I hear Christianity is not cool. I was watching one of the podcasts, Jeff Teague. He was telling a story how he got saved at a church camp. And everybody, all his co-hosts were making fun of him. We're just like, you got saved at a church camp. You know, that Christian stuff, man. It's not cool. Like they're basically saying like, hey, bro, it's not popular. It's not cool. And that's what we're teaching our children. Our children are looking up to these mentors, rappers, people in school. Like they want something cool, but they have no one to mimic. And so they have to just mimic society. And so like, I think it's really important for your parents to teach your children the right way, but also be cool about it. It's not a cookie cutter. Like, be real with your children. Like, hey, I used to do all this. I used to listen to rap, but now I listen to Christian rap. It's the same thing. And put that on them. Like, make Christian cool. And I think it stands for like leaders need to stand up and be bold about their past, but God transformed that and into where they're going in the future. A lot of times, whenever we get a testimony, God changes us. We want to change our whole identity. And it's like, no, God found you when you were listening to rap. God found you when you were in there. Now he wants to just flip it and glorify him, but you're still going to use that same thing, you know? And so I just wanted to highlight that because Christianity it's probably the best thing. It is cool. And we just needed better leaders to demonstrate it for our young ones, you know?
That's it.
No, go ahead, Blake.
No, go for it.
I was just going to say, I just wanted to correct a word right there for you. It's not probably the best thing. It is the best thing for you, right? Just through all aspects. I mean, we were on a pod yesterday talking about how good God's word is and how it prepares us for every aspect of marriage, you know, hardships, wisdom, wealth building, right? Health, right? It is everything that we need. God is the source of all of that. But go ahead, Blake.
Yeah, even think about this in a world where it's all about quick, fast dopamine hits, doom scrolling, give me the quick flick of my thumb so I can just see. Isn't it interesting how popular podcasting has become?
So funny.
There's something in society that craves depth and discipleship. No matter what the trend is, no matter what the cool, like in theory, if the trend is the real deciding factor, podcasting should have died off 10 years ago because it's too long and it's too boring. But there's something inside of man where we will sit there, and if you can grab me and if you can feed me, not saying it's all good, but I will sit there and I will listen to you. Like, think about how often we were taught, oh, long sermons are not cool, they're boring. We over here taking Joe Rogan as gospel. You know what I mean? We're over here listening to 2.5 hour podcast, and people are locked in. Like, so there is actually more of a hunger for depth and for truth than what society gives off. The dopamine hit, we all like that, but there's something in us that wants more. And so if we could translate that to our young people and be the determiners of cool and of truth, then I think we have a chance to build a bright future. Yeah.
Yep. Absolutely. Old wineskin, you're out, man. New wineskin's in. Come on.
Facts.
Make room.
I have a question because you brought up this is an important factor for young men. Like your wife, having that discernment, finding her, like you're like, God opened my eyes and was like, that's her. Can you talk about that moment and how does one know? It's not the same for everybody, but I just want to know your moment. Yeah. It might help someone else out.
That's a great question. Our story is unique because, it's literally like, hey, let's get married. But there was more to that. This is kind of what our founder, Pastor Mark, teaches, and it's such a bomb line. He says, God doesn't do instantly, but he does do suddenly. And there's a difference. Like, instantly means it was birthed in that instant. Suddenly is something that can happen very fast, but there could have been a big lead up to it. You know what I mean? So for example, true story, the founder of Kingdom City, Him and his wife went from first date to let's get married in 4 hours. True story. But watch this. Pastor Mark, our founder, was a 30-year-old guy who had been a former lawyer for 5 years, quit law, went into the ministry, served under a pastor for 4 years. And then that pastor planted him and said, there's a call of God in your life. You need to go to Malaysia. Our founder went on a one-way ticket to a Muslim nation to start a church on a visitor's visa, risked it all, sold 2 properties he owned, and used the finances from one of the properties to literally get the church started in a Muslim nation as a single dude. Then there was another church group that was doing missionary trips to Malaysia, and they used his church as a base when they would come. And on one of their second or third trips, that's where he met Pastor Jemima, his wife. You see what I mean? And then the cool thing is when they met, God started speaking to her immediately. They didn't reconnect until 7 months later. And that 7 months later was, say, the first date. But there was 7 months of prophetic words and confirmation she had. So by the time they met, she already knew, hear me, there had been no DMs, no communication. But by the time they first met, she already knew that was her husband. Like mentors, pastors, leaders, parents, everybody was like, that's the guy. He don't know it yet, but he the guy. And then for him, he'd been on a 10-year journey of pursuing God, walking in his calling, walking in his assignment. And so then at the right moment, just like God did it with Adam, it's not good for this brother to be alone. Let's get this rib popping and let's make this thing work. You see what I'm saying? And so what happened is for me, I was in the music industry. I got signed to a label, was doing music, making money, out of Bible college. I'm doing ministry. And this is kind of like at the height of like the jerkin and the Dougie movement. So like my rap name was Young Chosen. I was rolling around with fluoro skinny jeans, like wearing 3-studded belt buckles, Vans shoes on, Kanye shutter shades. Like I'm talking about.
That was that swag era.
That swag era. Very cringe, but we thought we was cute. You know what I'm saying? And anyways, so I'm dating like multiple women, seeing the dark side of the Christian music industry and seeing aspects of my life starting to look like they did before I went into rehab. I've gone on this whole journey for God to change me. Now I'm in ministry and I got people knocking on the dressing room door saying, hey, we got some women outside. Do you want us to bring them in?
Oh my God.
At a church.
Bruh.
So I'm like, God, I don't want to be this. I don't like myself. And then, when you got a bunch of yes people around you that are part of a label and, they just see you as something that's making money, the discipleship is weak. You're at a different church every weekend. So there's no one covering you. There's no one pouring into you. There's no one holding you accountable. And I just, one night, I'm like dating 3 different girls and I'm tired and I'm exhausted. And the one thing I did that was the saving grace was I rented a room from a young married couple. They were from the church that I was a part of. And they didn't preach at me, but they just modeled marriage so well. They would just be chilling on the couch in sweatpants, watching movies. And when I first moved into this house, I'm like, y'all are so lame. Like, y'all are boring. If that's all y'all do, like, I can't believe it. And fast forward 7 months later, I'm on my knees in my room crying out to God, saying, God, I want what they have. I just said, God, I'm tired of girls and I just want my wife. So for me, the first thing I say to young people is you actually have to come to the moment of surrender. Like a lot of times we want something, but we haven't come to the moment of surrender to actually obtain it.
Right.
Like I want abs, but I dang still love tacos. Like, I haven't come to the moment of surrender yet. You know what I mean? Like I want a 6-pack. You see what I'm saying? But I haven't come to the moment of surrender where I'm willing to not want the very thing that's making me fat. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, so I'm a little chubby. I'm working out, but I'm softer. You know what I'm saying? But the point is, but that's by my own choice. And sometimes we're like, yo, I want marriage, but I still got my Tinder profile. I'm still swiping left and right. Like I want, like, ladies, like, I want a quality man, but you still want to dress like you for the streets on the weekend because you still get validation from like the likes on the gram. Like you got a scripture in your bio, but it's just your backside in all your photos.
Yeah.
Like you want to be a wife, but you don't want to not be a baddie enough. You see what I'm saying?
Listen to Sexy
Like,
Red.
right? So the point is, I had come to the moment of surrender. I'm like, God, I'm done. I'm done. I'm tired of this. I don't want this anymore. And begin to make some changes. And then, boom, out the blue, God's like, oh, okay, cool. Suddenly, here's the girl. You see what I mean?
Yeah.
And then the moment I even met her, I went straight up, deleted every number out of my phone that wasn't my mama, my auntie, and my sister that was a girl. Like, I went so hard to just clean out my life of any foolishness whatsoever. And this was before I even knew she was going to say yes. In faith, I'm like, I'm just done. And then the shout out is God had been on a journey with my wife. She had been writing in her journal, hearing all these prophetic words of confirmations. So it was a suddenly, but it wasn't an instantly. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And so that's my challenge is I don't feel like sometimes the legislation we put around for it to be a godly relationship, you've got to have courtship for 2 years, then you date for 3 more years, and then at 7.5 years, then you can get married. I think that's legalism and that's foolishness. And I think there's a lot of great couples who have fallen into sexual sin purely because they're trying to keep up with the Joneses. They're trying to look what they think they need to look like to approve a religious spirit. And God's like, I've been done told y'all to be husband and wife. Like, I think there's so many couples who have fallen into sexual sin, and really, when they just didn't consult the Lord on how long, God, is healthy for us to be boyfriend, girlfriend. How long is healthy for us to be engaged? What Lord, you tell us when we need to make two become one. And of course, get good counseling, all the disclaimers. You need premarital counseling, you need a great church, you need covering, you need this, like that should be a given. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But I'm talking about couples who have great church, good leadership, awesome married couples that are ready to walk you on a journey, ready to pour into you, and then y'all falling into sexual sin because y'all been dating for 5 years. Like, what are we doing? You know what I'm saying? Like, why are we doing this? So anyways, yeah.
Brother, honestly, that's probably the best answer I've received. I asked a lot of people that question, like a lot of mentors, but you broke it down to like suddenly, instantly, like you broke it down really well. You said teacher is one of the 5 folds of your gifting, right? Teacher?
Yeah, it's in there. It's in there. It's not the top, but it's there. It's there.
Because that really broke it down really well, man. I really appreciate
praise
that.
God.
It's gonna help me, but other men for sure. So
that's awesome.
Absolutely. Yeah, there's so much ease and access. You know, you talked about deleting numbers and blocking people. We live, again, it's that microwave mentality, that convenience, right? And even like relationships, keeping that back door, it's so convenient, you know, especially social media. You know, I can't even I can't imagine, you know, being 18 years old now and be like, yeah, I want a wife. And then you have all of these options, right? Even if you're ugly now, like there's still a way. You know what I mean? Like, you're ugly.
You got options.
Back when we
man.
were in school, God bless you. You know what I mean?
You know, it's true. It's true.
But I wanted to change the conversation just a little bit. I'm being silly here, but man, I love the aspect of leadership. It's one of my favorite just realms to operate in. I love seeing people accomplish things and just the nuances and helping people overcome, guiding people, leading people, whatever it may be, right? That's why I love being a father. I love that aspect of responsibility. I think responsibility is a beautiful thing. You know, been in ministry. Now you're the lead pastor out here in Dallas, right? And everything that we do, no matter what it is, whether you sell a product, a service, you're in ministry, you're in the people business. And we've heard all different types of stories about churches, right? With leadership, good and bad.
Yes, we have. Yes,
And
we have.
my question for you is, how do you operate in that world of leadership with grace, humility, but keeping people at a arm's length distance to not micromanage, but understand the vision to where they can go and accomplish it?
Wow, that's a great question. Woo, we're raising sons, we're not raising slaves. It's family. It's family business. It's father's business. It's, he said, I'm going to be about my father's business. And when you think about principles of great business, and then when you think about the principles of a great family, and if you put those together, that should be the church. So there should be excellence, customer service, attention to people's needs, integrity, hard work with love, care, intimacy, discipleship, prayer, conversations. Like there should be great outcomes, accountability, expectations with dinner, coffee, how you going, birthdays, funerals, weddings. Like if you could put those together, that should be what a healthy church looks like. It's a family business. And then how do we do that? How do we stay healthy as pastors? And then how do we not micromanage people? How do we, I think if you're teaching people task, you will be a micromanager. But if you're teaching people principles, you can become a good pastor. We've got to teach people why behind the what, not just the what. For years in church, it was secular music's of the devil. Okay, I get it. It's bad, but why? What's going on here? Like, break this down for me. And no one was actually saying, hey, if you ever want to learn how to hear the voice of God, it's going to be really hard if you've got 10,000 lyrics of trash bumping through your head. It's really hard to hear the still small voice when you got a million other voices in there. So if you want intimacy with God, if you want to learn how to hear him and know what he's saying and what he's doing, let me teach you some great things to listen to so that God's voice becomes louder. People wasn't talking like that to us in church. You know what I mean? It was just, this is bad and this is this demonic and this is of the devil and so we were shamed into actions very often, and not loved into them. And so that's just, I guess, the overall principle is that we're building a family business. This is equally excellent as it needs to be, full of love and support and accountability. And we all love a good mom and pop shop. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like you like when the owner's at the door and and he just loves everybody. He makes you feel like family. You want to spend more money there. You want to buy that product because you're not just buying a product. You're buying into the ethos, the atmosphere. You're like, I went into this taco shop and the dude was the nicest dude at the register, and he's calling out the orders. He's saying people's name. Like, he made the food taste better. Like, the food needed to be bomb. There needed to be cleanliness standards. There needed to be excellence, and there needed to be customer service and all those elements. But the human portion was beautiful. I think, it's like viral, but it's heartbreaking. Have you seen these things right now where it's literally like it's like a new business model where you walk up to a wall and there's just a little hole in the wall and you just ring a bell and a little hand comes out with like your drink or your meal? It's so funny how society is broken down that it's like, I don't even want to know you're a human. I just want to ring a bell and I need you to give me what I want. And society is literally trying to say, you know what, let's remove the family completely and let's make it business. And we're starting to see that in the church world too. Like, it's scary. So I think if we can bring back the touch and the sensitivity and the love back to it, then we can call people to a higher standard, but they're going to feel so valued at the same time. So yeah.
Exactly. No, that's beautiful, man. It's transactional versus transformational.
Ooh,
Excuse me.
come on now. That's it.
And
That's it. That's a
yeah, man,
bar.
that's what creates that buy-in factor. When the leader, the top leader, is serving as if, I mean, you were talking about the founder of Kingdom City, right? He was there
At the
um,
door.
at the door. When people see that, right, they may not know who the pastor is the first time, but they're like, oh, that's the guy that was at the door and he's preaching. Like, wow, what a wholesome person, right?
That's it.
Because
That's it.
so often people of power and position, they want to prop themselves up. But, John Maxwell talks about like positional leadership is the lowest level of leadership, right? Like there's barely any respect with it. And that's why you see people that have to prop themselves up. You were talking about like black churches, right? Like intergalactic, right? You
Oh
have
my
to
gosh.
do that because that's the lowest form of leadership. So you're building.
And there's no relationship in those churches. You don't even talk to the pastor.
Exactly.
Yes.
Unless you got money, unless you got some bread, and you can maybe get an appointment in. You're right, though. And then on the flip side, when it's family, when it's done well, like it's so warm and it's so attractional, and you feel loved and you feel valued. And so, yeah, if we can give that back to people, man, like we're gonna have fun, because then obviously the highest levels of John Maxwell talk about is pinnacle, but that people development, where people love you because of what you've done for them.
Yes.
Like I love Pastor Mark, not just for any sermon he preached, but that dude stayed up till 2 a.m. one night and taught me and my wife how to get out of debt. Taught us how to manage our finances, invested into marriage counseling for us, paid for therapy, supported us in ways people don't even know, and invested into us. That's why I'm a son of Kingdom City, is because of what's been done for me, for my wife, for my family, for the word is world class. The leadership is fire, but I was loved when I had nothing to offer. I was valued. I was given dignity when I was not a contributing factor, and so that, like, I'll forever appreciate that, so yeah.
No, and that even ties into the previous conversation we had about relationships, right? There's a legalistic way of doing it. When you bring that to the church or relationship, no one cares. Like you're not loved. You don't feel that. That's why, I said transactional versus transformational. When you feel, because people don't remember what you say, they remember how you make them feel. And that is when you are in the people business, which every single business, everything you do is a people business. When they remember how you make them feel, that's where you create that buy-in factor.
That is it.
Yeah, no, that's good. I just have one more question, if you don't mind.
Yeah, come on.
I'll let you plug in yourself. But your wife's prophetic. I'm pretty sure you're prophetic too. But why Dallas Fort Worth? Like, why there out of all the places in America to start? There's some guy highlights something about Texas. I'm always into that kind of thing. Discernment, God's timing, what is God doing? And so I just want to know, curious.
Yeah, why not? Why not this place? This is beautiful. So there was a prophetic word that was given at our conference. We have like a big church conference we do every year. And again, this has been in our hearts. Me and my wife we've been holding America in our hearts for 10 years. Before we lived in Africa for 4 years, before we pastored in Sydney, before all that stuff, it was like, God, one day we want to see what we're falling in love with out here. We want to see this back in America. But you trust God's timing. Some people went and some people were actually sent properly, and you always want to be sent. Last year a word was given in September, and they brought our founders on stage, and they're like, the time for America is now. And this woman started prophesying things that me and my wife had spoke about only in pillow talk. Like she was saying stuff and we just hit the floor. Like my wife was crying for like 2 hours straight. It was just this crazy moment where I feel like a dam broke, and everything I've been holding in prayer, just like, I couldn't put it back together. So we spoke with Pastor Mark and our team, and we're like, hey, like, we love Sydney. Because we had just planted a church in Sydney. So like Kingdom City Sydney is literally coming into its third year. And traditionally you don't leave a church plant after 2 years. So we're like, we'll stay here. Like, we're submitted. But after that word, we feel something. So we're just leaving it here, but we want to let you know, and we trust you at the time. And he's like, hey, yeah, no, he's like, this is God. But like, let's see how it goes. And so it was kind of like, oh, maybe 2027, who knows when. And then he starts messaging me, Pastor Mark, like every week. He'd be like, what do you think about Detroit? What about Michigan? What about this place? What about Colorado? What are you feeling? And then like, and next thing you know, we're playing this game of like spiritual hot potato, and we're just talking every week. And the next thing you know, like me and my wife were like researching places online, and we'd pray, and it would be like a YouTube video, top 10 reasons to live here. And then we'd pray, and then we talked to, and like, so the whole, like all the elders, this excitement started to grow in everybody. And then it kind of whittled down to we felt California, we felt Atlanta, we felt Texas, and we felt DC. We're just 4 places we really kind of felt on our heart. And then it was like, okay, God, where first? And it was honestly just prayer and elimination that it got down to we think we need to start in Texas first. And okay, where? Okay, do Austin there? Oh no, Austin's too weird. Okay, let's go here. Let's we're looking around, and then it's like, okay, DFW. Okay, North Dallas. Okay, and it just landed to. So we live in Plano, and here's the funniest thing, right? So this is like 5 months of prayer. January of this year, we have our final, like, are we doing this meeting? We're in Pastor Mark's office. The whole team's there. The elders are there. Business managers are there. Like, are we really about to kick off America? And we're talking about the cities, and then we're talking about Plano and kind of Frisco and just kind of the area where we're in. Pastor Mark's like, yeah, Plano feels good. And we're like, yeah, let's do it. Our business manager, he's like, funny thing, guys, in faith, we incorporated Kingdom City in America 2 years ago, and our business address is in Plano, Texas. And we're like,
wow.
What? What? Like, everybody's like, are you it was just the wildest thing. And so we're here kind of in the North Dallas area. I mean, we got some people all the way from South that come through. We got people from everywhere. But yeah, we're kind of in striking range of kind of, Colony, Frisco, Plano, McKinney, Prosper. This area is kind of where we are, but anybody's welcome. And our faith goal is we probably will be kicking off a Fort Worth location come probably into 2026. And so me and my wife, our focal point is to just build a flagship Kingdom City. And we're going to see Kingdom Cities happen all across America. That's our mission. And so, yeah, we got some work to do. So yeah, Dallas is just, is the Lord is popping. I mean, I think is either Bloomberg or Wall Street Journal says Texas is about to be the most influential state in the next 5 years.
Yeah.
The tech, the infrastructure, capital gains tax, the property tax shift, Y'all Street, you know what I mean? Like all that stuff. So I love it. It's just, there's a significance and there's a shifting that we felt this is just going to be a great epicenter for a huge move of God that's going to go everywhere else.
No, I believe it, man. Prophetically, Texas has been talked about for years. And so I was just curious. I felt what you were saying. I'm like, that's probably the reason why. But I was curious, man. So praise God.
Yeah, man. I just want to give you this time. Plug yourself, plug the church. Where can people find you? Where can they go to church, right? Obviously, I know we just talked about that. But yeah, anything you related to your church, things your wife got going on, plug it. This is your time.
Oh man, love y'all. Hey, big shout out to Crown Cast. Thank you guys. Looking forward to doing more with y'all. Yeah, our Instagram is Kingdom City USA. Just no underscores, no nothing. Kingdom City USA. Just type that in one word and you'll see our IG account there. Every Sunday, 10 a.m. We meet at Rome. It's this dope networking, co-working spot in Grandscape, which is a cool kind of entertainment area in North Dallas. We got our grand opening service November 16th. So whenever you're watching this, it might have already happened, but that'll be at 1 p.m. on November 16th. Our founder, Pastor Mark, is actually going to be in town with us, so we're super excited about that. That'll be happening at Grandscape on Sunday, 1 o'clock. And then, yeah, just we love y'all. We love you, whoever you are, whoever's watching this. Whenever you're watching this, you're not too late. You're right on time. Come hang out.
Amen.
And yeah, Kingdom City, welcome. We love y'all.
Awesome. Amazing, man. And so how we always end every single episode is we have our guests pray us out. Is that something that you'd be open
Come
to?
on. I'd be honored to.
Of
I'd be
course. Let's
honored.
get it.
God, I thank you for these amazing young men. God, we bless Joel and Joseph, and we thank you for the ministry that you've put in their hands. And I thank you for more divine opportunities and divine encounters. God, every email, every phone call, every text message, every DM, and let everything they do from a networking aspect be so just led by you and in your hands. We just pray wisdom and discernment, and that you would bless them and bless everyone watching, God, that you are going to raise up a kingdom network, that we will see billions of dollars be raised to impact the body of Christ and to genuinely and truly make a difference, to build the kingdom, to build our world, and to make your name famous. Jesus, we love you. We need you. And we ask all this in your name, in Jesus' name. Amen.
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 That's what we do, man. Blake, thank you so much for coming on. Truly was an honor. And so everybody connect with him. We'll see you next time. Thank you for joining the Crowncast podcast, and God bless.